Yo, this is Real Talk with E. Welcome to the locker room where we talk nothing but basketball. If you want to be part of the locker room, you obviously have to be part of the team. In order for you to be part of the team, you have to subscribe and share the video to not only be a part of the team and the locker room, but to also be a part of our daily basketball conversations so that you don't miss nights of basketball like this.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the three.
To win it. Good. That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection.
This is for the win. Got it. Wow.
At 7, working against Butler, got down.
Now, yesterday in the league, there was a lot going on. We had a team comeback, one of the biggest comebacks of the season. We had somebody really go off. We had overtime game. We had crunch time. We had clutch buckets. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first game of the night. Obviously, let's talk about the Lakers and the Mavericks. Now, we all know, I always say that the Mavericks defense is garbage. They only rely on their three-point shooting. And without their three-point shooting, they're pretty much nothing. And once they start to miss, we see a lot of teams start to come back, take advantage of that, and basically start to take leads or, cut down into the Mavericks lead. And they come back, and pretty much the Lakers did the same thing. First half, they were playing like garbage. They could not get a single, stop. They couldn't get, consistent rebounds. The Mavericks came out. They were scoring. Luka opened up the first quarter with like 3 threes. Kyrie was going crazy. The entire Mavericks team were just hitting 3 after 3. All their shots were going in. And then we go into the second quarter, and they're still doing the same thing. At a certain point, the score was like 45-21. And then they hit a couple more threes, and the Mavericks go up by 27. And you would think that, okay, this is done, right? This is over, and the Lakers are going to fold. They're going to roll over like how we're used to them doing so far this season. But we get to the second half. Well, actually, the end of the first half, the Lakers start to play defense. They start to really lock in. They start to get rebounds, force the Mavericks into missing, not hoping that they're going to miss, and they cut it down. We get into the third quarter, and at the end of the third quarter, they cut it down to 9 points. And the funny part about this whole thing is that AD and LeBron weren't really going that crazy. And then we get to the fourth quarter, and this is a little bit of back and forth. Kyrie tried to do what Kyrie does in the fourth quarter. Lakers basically shut that down towards the end of the quarter, and they won. Now, this is the second game where a LeBron team has came back from being down 27. It ties his largest comeback by any of the teams he's played on. So that was great. And to see the Lakers come back from being down 27 was amazing. And obviously, I cannot go talking about the Lakers and this whole comeback and this entire game for this entire video without speaking about Jared Vanderbilt. The reason why the Lakers started coming back is because of Jared Vanderbilt. Now, yes, LeBron did set the tone. He picked up 94 feet and played defense. But Jared Vanderbilt was all over the court. He got rebounds, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, his shots, transitions, dunks, steals. He was literally all over the place, diving for 50-50 balls, getting fouled. He was literally, I say he's all over the place. There was a certain stretch where it felt like 4 to 6 possessions in a row where Jared Vanderbilt had something to do with that. Like whether it was a steal or a block, a rebound, a shot, a pass, a whatever it was, he has something to do with like 6 possessions in a row. And that really helped the Lakers come back. And then we all know the Mavericks, man. I'm not gonna say too much about them. But before I even start talking about the Mavericks, I just want to give a shout out to the Lakers because they could have easily folded. And without D'Angelo Russell, they came out and they scored the way that they did. They won. They came back, and it was like, I believe, 111 to 104. Jared Vanderbilt ended up with a double-double. I believe it was 17 and 15. Amazing game. Like, this is the piece that the Lakers needed this whole time. They were looking for the Patrick Beverleys, the, players like that who are very scrappy and foul and play quote-unquote hard defense. But all they needed was really just Jared Vanderbilt. He came in, did everything for them. Now the Mavericks, we all know, defense, garbage. And before the trade even happened, I told everybody Kyrie was not going to help that. Kyrie was going to hurt the defense even more because Kyrie does not play defense. Kyrie had a double-double. He had like 10 boards, which is insane. This is a point guard, yeah. But he had 10 boards. Him and Luka, scoring-wise, been decent. They've been good. But defensively, this team is just lacking. There's no defense. No defense at all. I believe they only won one game since Kyrie has got there. And that's really bad. They're starting to fall down a lot. This is a team that really had the 4 seed locked, it seemed like. And now they're like fighting to stay within the playoffs and not have to play in the play-in. Luka, again, he's not playing defense. Christian Wood not playing defense. Kyrie's not playing defense. You know, just there's no defense on this team. There's nobody to guard the perimeter. There's nobody to really stand in front of LeBron and AD. So who is really going to stop them? I mean, it's so easy to beat this team. Just play defense. You know, don't hope for them to miss their shots. Make them miss their shots. And then if Kyrie and Luka are going to go off for 25 points each, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you match that and guard everybody else. It's that simple. Like, I should not know how to beat the Mavericks. There's no team that we know how to beat except the Mavericks. The Lakers, yeah, we used to know, but now they look like a whole new team. Like, yes, they did trade a lot of pieces, you know, and they pretty much orchestrated a whole new roster. But at the same time, you know, we don't know how to beat the Lakers no more. It's a whole different team. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still got to watch them a couple more times and figure out where's the holes in their squad, where's, you know, the benefits, how can they cover the holes up. But the Mavericks, they literally is no way you could cover up the holes. There's no way you could cover up defense. But anyways, yeah, that's enough of that game. Now let's talk about the next game. We had the Houston Rockets go up against the Trailblazers, and I don't really want to talk about the Houston Rockets or the Trailblazers. I really just want to talk about Damian Lillard. First quarter, he comes out, he hits like 3 threes, and he goes like 3 for 5 from 3. He has 16 points in the first quarter, and I was like, oh my God, Damian Lillard about to have 40, 50 points. Probably even 60, right? We get into the second quarter, and he scores 25 points in the second quarter. 25 in the second quarter. Ends the first half with 41. The second most half points behind Donovan Mitchell with 42. So, for him to drop 41 in the first half, I was like, oh my God, bro. If Damian Lillard comes out in the second half and he just gives us 10 points for each quarter, that's 60 points right there. And he could possibly break his record. And you know what happened? He comes out in the third quarter and he gives us 9 points. He hit I believe he hit 2 threes. But with that being said, he started off the quarter very passive, you know, doing what a point guard does, trying to make sure everybody else is still in the game and all that, you know, good stuff, because, you know, he's going to need them. And somehow, some way, they got Matisse Thybulle to start scoring and putting the ball in the bucket, which something he was not doing in Philly. So, shout out to them. I don't know how they managed to do that, but that's great for them. And it's also great to see Thybulle actually starting to score. I mean, that's really, really, like, good for him. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I did not want to see him be like the Ben Simmons of the world and stuff like that. I like when players change, man. Like, I like when they grow, when I see them start to score, start to do a little bit of everything, or a little bit of more of everything. They might not do everything, you know what I'm saying? But you're going to do a little bit of something, you know? And they just, like, become better, and you can see their progress. And if he could keep this up, this would really help the Blazers in the playoffs, if they make it to the playoffs, or even in the play-in. Honestly, it could help them in the play-in so much. That one game, Matisse Thybulle gives them 8 points, 10 points, maybe even 6 points. That can really help them win the game. That could be the difference of winning or losing. But we get to the fourth quarter, and Damian Lillard just goes off for 21 points in the fourth quarter. And not only does he break his record of 61 points, I believe, He gets 71. The second 71-point game we've seen this season, and the last one that we saw has only been a month and a half away from when Damian Lillard did it last night. Donovan Mitchell put up 71 on January 2nd. Damian Lillard put up 71 last night on February 26th. Somebody make that make sense to me. I don't know if the league is just not playing defense, or the scoring is just so elite nowadays, or is it a little bit of both? It could be a little bit of both. But 71 is still 71, and that was amazing to watch. And honestly, I'm not going to lie, watching the 71 points, it felt like he could have won off at 80 and probably even had 90. I mean, the man went 13 for like 21 from 3. And honestly, it would have been way more efficient if like a good 5 of those threes didn't come in the fourth quarter where he was just chucking it up. Just trying to get 70 or trying to see how much he could get in total. If those threes were more efficient, he took his time with them, he could have easily had, 80 points, 85, maybe looking at 90. That would have been like a super historical night if he did that. Because the last 80-point game we had was when Kobe Bryant did it back in like 2006. He had dropped like 81 on the Raptors. So if Damian Lillard was able to do that, that would have been fire. And not only that, Damian Lillard ends the first half with 8 of 11 shooting from 3. He had 8 of his 13 threes in the first half. And he comes out in the second half and goes 5 for like, I don't even know, 5 for 10 from 3. Still super efficient, honestly. 13 threes. Ties Steph Curry's most 3-point makes in a single game. I mean, it only makes sense that Steph, Clay, and Dame are the only players with 13 to 14 threes each. And they're the only players with more than one game of 12 or more threes. I believe this is actually Damian Lillard's first game with more than 12 threes. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another one soon. The way he's been shooting the ball and the way he's been making his buckets, I would not be surprised. 71 points. Honestly, I'm really surprised this is his first game of having 71. Like, the way Damian Lillard scores, 1 is so efficient, but 2, it feels like he could literally go off for 80. And it feels like he could have had 70 at so many different opportunities and so many different moments. But the fact that he didn't have 70 just shows you what type of player he is. Because we got into the beginning of the third quarter, and he was super passive, right? And I would not be mad at that. If my point guard is passing the ball around, making sure everybody eat, I would not be mad at that. But to just think that he could have literally had 80 last night. And he could have probably even broke Klay Thompson's 3-point record of 14 threes in the game. If like 5 of those threes were not rushed. Man, last night could have been, not only is it historical now, but it could have been even more historical. Like an 80-point game. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if you watch this game, you can literally see that he honestly could have went off for 80. And watching this game just, I don't know, bro. It just made me appreciate Damian Lillard so much more in the way that he scores so much more. Like his going to the baskets, his drives, his, threes, his 30-foot shots. And not only that, yesterday I believe he tied Trae Young with the most shots from 30 feet away from the basket or more. And he might even broke it. I believe he probably have 4 or 5. But he either tied Trae Young or he broke it. And now, speaking about Trae Young, let's talk about Trae Young hit a game winner on the Brooklyn Nets. Now, that was amazing. That was a super clutch shot. The fact that I had to go to a game winner from Trae is kind of crazy because I'm not going to lie. I mean, this Hawks team, yes, they're struggling, but damn. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets don't really have anybody. Just a bunch of defense, and maybe Mikal Bridges is going to go off for like 30 points, 35, whatever. But it's not like they have Kevin Durant anymore. So I don't know. I don't know if the Hawks are able to even enter the play-in, make it past the play-in. I don't know. The Brooklyn Nets, they look great so far, but like I said, they've been falling down. They need that one person to just like, take over the game in the stretch. They don't have that. Obviously, they're not gonna have that for a while. But let's talk about the last game of the night, and this was the game that I was talking about that went to overtime. Now, the Clippers go up against the Nuggets, and first and foremost, we all know that the Clippers just went up against the Kings, like I believe it was on Friday, and it was the second most points in NBA history in a single game. And not only that, they went to double overtime, and now on their way to Denver, I heard that their flight was struck by lightning. So, hopefully everything is well. I mean, that's scary to hear. So I hope everything is well. Everything went, good. But the fact that they came out last night and they were competing, they were down first quarter. They came back in the second and they fought back and they made it a game. In the third quarter, it was really, really a game. Kawhi, at a certain point, I believe it was like the end of the third quarter or the fourth quarter, he just took over and it felt like a real Kawhi game. And Jokic went crazy this game. He had like 40 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, and it went to overtime. Now, when this game went to overtime, Jokic had like 9 straight points. And he had an assist to basically just put the exclamation mark on the game and just take this one home. The Clippers, honestly, they could have did it, but I don't know. Paul George didn't really have a loud game. He had a cool game, but it wasn't loud. Norman Powell didn't have his usual game coming off the bench. A lot of players for them did not really execute to the level that we've seen them execute before. However, the game ends 134 to 124. Nuggets win. Appreciate that. I like the fact that the Nuggets won because the Suns lost. So for the Clippers to win, it would have hurt the Suns. But anyways, yeah. It's enough of me rambling and chatting. It's time for y'all to let me know chatting down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talk with E, and it's time to leave the locker room. I'm going to catch y'all. Safety.